Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about how I lost 3 kilos in the last month, in the last 4 weeks on Mounjaro. I'm very excited to have you here. So let's talk about my weight loss journey with taking a GLP-1, aka peptide, like tirzepatide, which is also known as Mounjaro, because Mounjaro is the brand, but the actual peptide behind the brand is tirzepatide, okay? So for those of you that don't know, I have been taking a GLP-1 now for close to a year. I think about 10, 11 months. And when I first started taking Mounjaro, I was getting it prescribed from my doctor. And I started on the 2.5 milligram dose like everyone else. And I was losing on average about 500 grams of body weight a week, which was really good. It was, you know, really steady. And I wanted to ensure that my results weren't kind of hard and fast, and they were very steady, because my main goal is to obviously maintain my results after, you know, being on these weight loss injections. So 500 grams was amazing. However, I started it and I was 76 kilos, I think, from the top of my memory. I think the doctor weighed me at 77, and I'm 169 centimeters. I always get asked that. How tall are you? How much did you weigh? So my BMI was higher, therefore I was 100% a good candidate for this weight loss medication. So yeah, but I think I weighed myself at home and I was like 76 kilos. So anyway, so that's what I started this medication on. Everything was going amazing and I was losing weight. Things were going fantastic. The food noise had stopped and subsided. I wasn't getting, you know, sugar cravings, because I have a really big sweet tooth. I wasn't getting sugar cravings or fast food takeaway cravings or anything like that for at least about the first 6 months. So the first 6 months, I feel like I was in a lot of momentum and things were happening quite quickly. But then what happened after that is my body got really comfortable. And I suppose I also got comfortable too, because I knew that I was on this medication and I knew that I kind of could relax in a few areas. I didn't have to like work out as hard. I didn't have to kind of be as active to move the weight, because obviously this weight loss medication is there to help you. And it was helping me. So for 6 months, I was in a lot of momentum, but at the same time, I would say I was getting a little bit slack with my other practices, if that makes sense. And I always get people say to me like, why didn't you just eat healthy? And why didn't you just, you know, work out? And it's like, I have been doing that for the past 10 plus years. Like, I have been training at the gym every day for the past 10 plus years. I have been a vegan. I have been a vegetarian. I followed a clean diet for a very long time. I was a pescatarian. Like, I've tried all of these diets in the hopes of losing weight. However, there came a time in my journey, and I swear once I hit like my 30s, I'm now 33, but once I hit my 30s, it just, everything stopped working. The things that did work, the things that did really help me stay in shape and lose weight and stay fit, they just stopped working. And that's why I initially, you know, got on this medication. That's why I initially reached out to my doctor and chatted to my doctor. And my doctor said, you know what, you'd be a great candidate, because things obviously aren't working. You're doing the things, you're doing the right things, you've got the right foundations, but it's just not working for you right now. And I just want to clarify that, because I get it all the time, or I get people that look at me now and go, why are you taking that medication? You don't need it. Why are you injecting yourself? Why are you taking peptides? Look at you, you look beautiful, you don't need it. And I will put up like my before and after here on the screen for you to show you, like, this is what I look now after 10, 11 months on this medication. But when I started it, very different story, you guys, you know, very, very different story. So over the last 10, 11 months, I have lost over 13 kilos. And what I was saying initially was the first 6 months, easy breezy. Like, we were just in momentum, losing a lot of weight. And then what happened 6 months in is I think my body reached its like comfortability weight loss level, okay? So I got down to about 65 kilos, and I literally have been in this plateau for the longest time at 65 kilos. I would drop a little bit to 64, and then the next week I would be up to 65, and then I would drop down again to like 64.5, and then the next week I would be like up to 65 or 65.5, and it just kept going like this. Literally like this. And at that point I had increased my Mounjaro dosage. I was doing 10 mg, so 10 milligrams a week of Mounjaro, and it, like, I was just getting really tired. I didn't have an appetite, which is what the drug is meant to do. It's to stop you from thinking about food a lot, so it stops the food noise, which I absolutely love, because I was someone that definitely over obsessed about food unnecessarily. So it stopped the food noise, but it also really curbed my appetite. So I would start eating my meal and then I would be full, like I would be satiated not even halfway through. So I wasn't obviously eating a lot of calories, and I was exhausted. Like, I was so tired. My hair started to thin out a lot. So I had gotten to the 10 milligrams through my doctor prescribed, and also the cost. Holy moly, you guys, the cost of this medication is just crazy to get it through, you know, your doctor. And when you start on the 2.5 milligrams, I think it's like $256, and then it just goes up and up and up and up and up. And so being on the fact that I was on the 10 milligrams, it was costing me, it was close to $700 from memory. I think it was $670 for 1 month of medication. Wild. Like, it was becoming like a lot for us. Like, I was having to put money aside so that, you know, every month when it came time to buy the prescription, I wasn't being like shortchanged, if that makes sense, because it was just so much money every single month. So anyway, I got to 10 milligrams prescribed through my doctor. And then one of my friends, he's in the health and fitness industry, has been for over 10 years. He's a personal trainer, nutritionist, everything, right? And he said to me, he goes, you know, I can actually get your medication for you like substantially cheaper, like 10 times cheaper. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, like I can obviously get anything. It's, you know, through like the black market, but I can literally get you anything. And he gave me this big list. He's like, if you want Reta, I can get you Reta. If you want just tirzepatide, which is Mounjaro, if you want that, I can get you that. I can get you 10 meg, even all the way up to like 15 meg, like whatever you want. He's like, I can get it. It's substantially a lot cheaper because you don't have like the label of Mounjaro. And obviously it's not coming through like a pharmacy, because everyone obviously puts their, you know, cuts and their costs on top of it. So by the time you pay for it, you're paying for everything above it. And he was just like, it just comes directly from China. Like, that's where all of the peptides come from, even the pharmacies ones, it comes from overseas. So we're going to get it directly through the source. It will just take, you know, a few weeks to get here. And I was like, okay. And so I decided that I was going to buy my peptides through my friend, and I will link his information below, but it's Nick at Nick Senior Coaching on Instagram. If you want to reach out to him, let him know that you've been referred from me, because obviously peptides, to buy them, you know, overseas and through other people, it's illegal. So, you know, he doesn't just like give it out that to everyone. So it's always referral based. So message him, let him know that you're from my world, you're from Rebekah Jade's world, and he will be able to look after you. And he's also going to be able to help you get your foundations right too, which is really, really important. I do not believe that people should just be injecting themselves willy-nilly with whatever. I truly believe that, first of all, you should speak to someone that has a lot of knowledge about peptides, has a lot of knowledge in this industry, which Nick does. Secondly, I really believe that you need to get your foundations correct. I believe that you need to 100% understand your body's needs, understanding your output, so like your exercise, what you should be doing for your body, and also understanding your input. So again, nutrition, calories, macros, micronutrients, all of that stuff. And Nick is incredible. He will be able to help you sort that. He'll be able to help you get on a plan. He's a coach as well, so there's that accountability piece as well to really help you stay accountable to these goals. So you're not just injecting yourself. Like, that's not the goal. The goal isn't to just inject yourself every single week or every single day. and be on this drug forever. Like, the goal is to actually maintain these results and live a very healthy, happy lifestyle in a body that you feel confident in and you feel sexy in. So back to the journey. Essentially, so what happened was Nick placed my order. The order got delayed. So there was a period of time where I wasn't on Mounjaro, okay, because there was a delay in the shipment from what I had left. I injected myself and then there was about a 2-week delay. Now what happened is I actually put on a few kilos. So I actually went up to 76 kilos, which again, it's not crazy. Like, it's absolutely not crazy considering I was just sitting at 75 predominantly. So I went up to 76 kilos. And then when my medication came in, what we did was we essentially put my medication back down to 5 milligrams of tirzepatide of Mounjaro, because I didn't want to go straight in and inject myself with the 10 milligrams in case like I had a reaction, or in case, you know, I became unwell, because it is such a high dosage. So we put me back down to 5 milligrams. Then Nick also kind of tweaked a few things in the way of my plan. So what I decided to do was also add in Retatrutide. So I'm now taking 2 milligrams of Reta a week. Now, I actually love Reta. So the difference between tirzepatide GLP-1 is that it works on 2 pathways, whereas Reta works on 3 pathways. Now, yes, I know Reta is still in its, you know, testing phases and it's not FDA approved or this, that, whatever. I get that and I understand that, but I did my own research. I listened to a lot of people's feedback that had been on Reta, their own testimonials, and the results that I was hearing through them was incredible. I didn't want to completely push my, you know, Mounjaro injections to the side because I had seen incredible results. I kind of wanted to keep that going, but at the same time, I also didn't want to just like increase hugely. So I decided to incorporate Reta. And so I inject my tirzepatide one day, my 5 milligrams, and then the next day I will inject my Reta, which is my 2 milligrams. What I love about Reta in particular is the energy. So with tirzepatide, with Mounjaro, I was so tired, like so exhausted, so tired. Whereas I feel like Reta just gives me this little bit of a pep, a little bit of a boost. And I feel so much more energized. At the end of the day, yes, I'm tired and I fall asleep. But at the same time, like I have enough energy to sustain me throughout the day. So that's really, really helped me. So I've been doing this now for the last month, and let me tell you, I have broken through my plateau. I'm currently sitting at 63 kilos for the first time in my whole freaking journey, and I'm so excited because like literally for the last like 4 or 5 months, I have not been able to freaking get past this 64 kilos, you guys. Like I've been stuck here. I've been stuck at 64 kilo jail, 65 kilo jail, like just oscillating between the two. And for the last 2 weeks, I have got down to the 63s, which is incredible. And I attribute that to a few things. Okay, so let's talk about the things that actually helped me break out of my plateau. First of all, I absolutely believe introducing Reta has 100% hands down helped me break out of this plateau. No questions asked, okay? The second thing that we also tweaked, so Nick again helped me tweak these things, and this is why I think it's really important to work with him, because like you've got someone that you can talk to. Like you don't have to do this alone, because I've been doing this alone for a really long time, and now I have someone that I can talk to and be like, okay, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And it's another perspective, and I'm all for coaching and all for mentorship. So Nick suggested that I increase my output. So what I've been doing is non-negotiable every single week 4 gym sessions. Before I was a little bit slack, I'm not gonna lie. Some days it might have been 2, some days it might have been 3, might have been 4, but now it's like 4 is the benchmark, and then, you know, 5 is the push. So I'm doing 2 HIIT sessions a week. I train at FitStop, for those of you that don't know. It's like an CrossFit athletic gym, and so we do 2 HIIT sessions a week, and then I also do 2 strength training sessions a week, non-negotiable minimum. Now on the weeks where I'm feeling like my body is feeling really, really good, I'll put in a 5th session, and that will be boxing, and I go to Rumble boxing, and so I literally will do 5 sessions then on the weekend I'm walking or I'm doing tennis or something like that. So that's been the first thing that we've been really focusing on, is like my output. And the other thing that I've been focusing on is my steps. So I used to just get 7,000 steps in a day. Whereas now I'm doing 10,000 steps a day minimum. Like I literally will not hop into bed until I've done my 10,000 steps. I look like a freaking crazy person. I'm doing laps around my apartment. I'm like fast feet on the ground, like in my bedroom, up and down the hallway, just to get my steps in before I go to bed. So 10,000 steps has absolutely been a minimum every single day, 4 gym sessions minimum a week. And then I love to do something a little bit fun, which will be like tennis or boxing, you know, I throw that in there. So that's really important. Calories have pretty much remained the same. I've been aiming for 1,500 calories. And now that I'm not taking such a high dose of tirzepatide, I feel like I can eat my calories, whereas before, again, I would aim for 1,500, but if you're only having half of your meals, you're definitely not having your calorie intake. And calories is really important to me because, again, my output is so high. I am working out a lot, and my workouts, they ain't easy. You know, I'm going for personal best at the gym with my lifts, like with squats, with deadlifts, with overheads. Like I am going for PBs every single week. So one thing that I cannot waste on is nutrition, is calories, is energy. My body needs that fuel. So minimum 1,500 calories. I'm actually thinking of increasing my calories because lately I've been craving a lot of sweet food. And I know that if I'm craving sweet food, it means that my body is actually craving energy. It's not craving the sugar, it's craving the energy. So again, I'm gonna look to increase my calories because we've really pushed my output out there. So those are the things that I've really focused on. Introducing Retta at a low dosage, keeping my tirzepatide, my Mounjaro injections quite low, increasing my output to 10,000 steps, increasing my workouts to 4, minimum 4, and then again, really monitoring my nutrition. And the last thing that I focused on is only eating out once a week. Now, again, like I mentioned before, I got quite lazy when it came to knowing that I was on a weight loss medication and it was protecting me, so to speak, right? Like knowing that yes, I could indulge and I could eat whatever food I wanted and my body would feel satiated. I wouldn't overeat on the takeaway. I wouldn't overeat on the ice cream. I wouldn't overeat on the dessert. Therefore, it was kind of like a safeguard. It was like, yeah, well, I can have ice cream tonight because I know I'm not going to overeat. So I would kind of use the medication as a bit of an excuse to overindulge. Now, I'm not for restricting myself at all. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my puppy is snoring. She's on my lap. I'm not here to like restrict at all. I will be the first that will have the piece of cake or have the cookie or, you know, have the cheeseburger. Like absolutely, I don't want to restrict myself. I want to live my life in a sustainable way that's normal for me and healthy for me. But at the same time, there's a limit. And I was pushing the limit. Some weeks I would have takeaway 3 times a week, okay? So I've really had to kind of rein it in, especially on the weekends. I don't know about you, but it's like Monday to Friday, I can be really strict on my plan, doing all the things. And then the weekend, I'm like, I don't want to cook. Like, I just want to relax. I don't want to have to do this. I just want to order a pizza while watching a movie. So I let myself live, but in moderation. I literally say 1 takeaway meal a week. It's usually pizza. Pizza's just our thing. I don't know what it is. It's our thing in our household. We have pizza, movie, we'll have some ice cream, and then that's it. And then what I'm doing over the weekend is I'm either getting like HelloFresh delivered or U-Foods. And I will link them in the description because I have some really cool discount codes which gets you so much money off of your like first few boxes. But that's what I've been focusing on, is ordering kind of those services which they still help us. We're eating differently compared to during the week. Like a HelloFresh box will have some really cool different fun little meals in there, or U-Foods is really convenient. You just heat your meal up and there it is, so you're not cooking. So that's what we've been doing, and it's just kind of allowed me to stay on track whilst also not feel like I'm just like cooking and prepping and cooking and prepping and cooking and prepping. So that's been another thing, is actually going, okay, what am I having on the weekend? Because at the end of the day, the weekend can like if you're overindulging on the weekend, it can just completely mess up your whole week of eating. So that is how I've been able to break out of my plateau. I will continue to keep you guys updated. I've been on this medication for, like I said, close to a year. It has completely changed my life. So grateful. I will link Nick and his Instagram. I will link all my codes, discounts, all those things for you guys. But Don't let anyone else talk you out of doing something that you know is going to benefit you and that you know is going to change your life. At the end of the day, you can try it, see if it works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, at least you've ticked it off the list and at least you know that that's not the path for you. But I'm so grateful that I tried this. I'm so grateful that I'm on this. I have had the most incredible experience, and that's why I share it with you guys, because there's a lot of people out here that will speak negatively about peptides and GLP-1s and weight loss injections, and they will try and scare you to not take it for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, there's people like me that have had the most incredible experience and it's changed our lives. All right, you guys, I love you and I appreciate you and thank you for being here. Bye.